Well, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Joe Biden's visit to the UAW, if this helps him in polls. I don't know if it will or not. It certainly makes me feel better about his presidency. I don't know which of the people who would supposedly run if he wasn't president would have done that. And again, make this clear. I don't care if he goes back and goes like, that was gross. I wish I'd never done that. I don't like shaking those people's hands. And frankly, I wouldn't have cared if he literally fell over while he was there. None of that was relevant to me. What was relevant, again, was that Sean Fain had 4 minutes unencumbered to deliver a great speech, show solidarity with teachers, with baristas, with writers, with actors, truck drivers, doesn't matter. Like, that helps the union movement. And that is an important institution that we need to rebuild. And, but one of the knocks on Joe Biden is that he has a lot of gaffes. Now, back when he ran in 2020, it wasn't an issue because people remembered the guy has always. He was like a serial plagiarizer during his campaign.
Plagiarized Neil Kinnock famously. And
I think RFK. And again, like, I was no Joe Biden fan, and I thought that he would have no chance in the 2020 election. But the idea that, like, it's going to come down to his gaffes versus Donald Trump's gaffes is also sort of hilarious.
Seems a little bit 2010. Exactly.
Here is Jessica Tarlov. She is the lone non-lunatic on Fox News. And it's so funny to hear them like react to it because she sometimes she does a good job for this role of what she's doing there. She's no Alan Combs, with all due respect, the late Alan Combs. She brings it.
But her presence in there is like when a fly gets into my apartment and the cats like have to freak out.
Exactly. This is what's pretty funny.
Based on what other world leaders and people in other countries think of America. But you said, okay, you don't need to watch him. Let's just hear what comes out of his mouth. And I put together some of Trump's latest cognitive beauties from the last 10 days. He said you need an ID to buy bread. Has anyone shown ID to get Wonder Bread lately? He said that he ran against Obama in 2016. He ran against Hillary Clinton. He warned that Biden will get us into World War II, which I'm pretty sure we already fought and won. And yesterday, he confused Jeb Bush and George W. Bush and said that Jeb got us involved in the Middle East. And then, of course, there are his authoritarian posts on Truth Social calling for the chair of the Joint Chiefs of Staff to be executed and saying that he's going to investigate media companies that he doesn't like. You know, and can you imagine if Biden said, you know what, I'm going to look into that Fox News. They don't seem to like me over there.
This may be the choice that people have.
Yeah. Do we have any left?
No, I can see if I can find a lot.
Dana Perino. This may be the choice that people have. It's not me. Yeah, it is. But I don't think you're going to be presenting it that way. Do you want Donald Trump's blunders versus Joe Biden's blunders? I mean, honestly, they will not present it that way because they can't. Because largely speaking, if Joe Biden was 10 years younger, there would be nothing for them to talk about.
Yeah.
Nothing. Nothing whatsoever. Let's hear where Dana Perino is going with this. Just give me the longer version there. Because there would be nothing else to talk to them about. All right, go ahead.
Remember when Biden said, I'm going to go take a nap or it's late. And Peter said that he was working into the wee hours of the night. He said he's held a complete schedule. And our perception around the world, by the way, is up since Biden came into the...
Go forward a little bit so we can get just when it turns to Perino.
Lately, he said that he ran against Obama in 2016. He ran against Hillary Clinton. He warned that Biden will get us into World War II, which I'm pretty sure we already fought and won. And yesterday, he confused Jeb Bush and George W. Bush and said that Jeb got us involved in the Middle East. And then, of course, there are his authoritarian posts on Truth Social calling for the chair of the Joint Chiefs of Staff to be executed and saying that he's going to investigate media companies that he doesn't like. And can you imagine if Biden said, you know what, I'm going to look into that Fox News. They don't seem to like me over there.
This may be the choice that people have. Trump versus Biden. Laid bare here, Jesse.
At least Trump can say LL Cool J, Jessica.
Are you
In a prompter.
ID to buy bread?
Biden has to stay upright and Trump has to stay out of prison. Think about how ridiculous that is. That is the most corrupt and low expectation situation where Joe Biden has to not fall flat on his face to have a shot at re-election. And he promised us he would get us back to normal. But all he's worried about is making himself look normal. He's not worried about
we don't
inflation.
need to hear anymore. I like how he elides this whole thing. And Dana Perino gets her one sentence in there, and that's it. I mean, it's just
How to remain on the surface level with Jesse Waters.
Exactly. Although, let's play this clip.
Waters.
Yeah, this is interesting. Jesse Waters apparently, and I don't know what his numbers are. Well, the last time I checked, his number were doing pretty good. Oh yeah, I know he's putting on fake glasses. Those aren't real glasses, incidentally. Those are definitely not real glasses. Because when you get real prescription glasses, they would say you're going to be on TV, you're going to want anti-glare.
Right, I was just thinking about that.
Like I don't have anti-glare on these. A little bit.
Less glare than his, though.
Much less glare than his. And but I think he wants to now appeal. He got and check out his ratings because I'd be curious. I assume that this leads me to believe that they're not doing well because he's trying to pivot away from his Bill O'Reilly impersonation that he's been doing to his Tucker Carlson impersonation. Because he's about to, and this is you want to talk about horseshoe, he's about to nail this on multiple fronts. Except for when he comes to his conclusion. Because if you're talking about what the CIA has done in terms of destabilizing governments around the country, the world rather, I mean, and you get to the problem of immigration, and you do not mention that we effed up Guatemala, Honduras, El Salvador, Venezuela, among others. I mean, arguably, we tried it in Brazil. And have destabilized these countries in such a way that there is no civil society anymore that can provide for these people in the way they need to be provided, whether it's security or work or whatnot. Then you're leaving out a big thing. But this is interesting.
Tonight we're taking a look at America's most powerful agency, the CIA. What have they been up to lately? They're not fighting communism anymore. So what are they doing with the billions we give them?
Pause it. Incidentally, lately, communism, he's about 30 years late on this, incidentally, but go ahead.
CIA, when they're not keeping us safe, are moonlighting as corporate America's secret police. In 1953, a few years after the CIA was founded, they overthrew Iran's government. Why? Oil. The prime minister at the time told Western oil companies to get out of the country. Big Oil called the CIA, and the CIA started a coup and got rid of the prime minister and brought in someone a little more friendly. Same thing happened in Cuba. Fidel's biggest sin was killing corporate America. American companies lost hundreds of millions when Castro kicked out the casinos, hotels, and food companies. So the CIA uncorked the Bay of Pigs. After that failed, tried to assassinate Fidel for the next 60 years. And when the agency plays bushwhacker for multinationals, there's collateral damage. Like the southern border, 10,000 third world migrants march in every day, courtesy of the drug cartels, even planting their flags on our territory. Look at that. I think that's Venezuela.
Pause it for 1 second. I just want to make something clear. This is not courtesy of the drug cartels. The drug cartels are not paying people to bring them up to the border. When we see, like, the images of the caravans that they would play over and over again on Fox News, like drug cartels that are bringing these people are choosing to leave their homes because it's unsafe.
Yeah.
Or because they can't put food on the table for their families, or they're leaving their families back there. There's no doubt, like, you have some drug cartels may run some smuggling routes, but chances are they're more interested in getting the drugs across than they are bringing families across.
Right. To the extent there's any, like,
crossover,
it's because, like, making a hardened border that, like, regular people trying to get across hard, so people have to get around the police, is basically a subsidy to the illegal
He's so close, because he's also trying to make, like, the CIA as if they operate completely distinct of, like, things like Iran-Contra, which was a Reagan policy, or the embargo that the Republicans want on Cuba. And all of these things are policies. Continue.
Border agents biting off cops' fingers. Oops. You're saying the CIA couldn't put a stop to that? But migrants work for big American companies and keep wages low, while the cartels make billions and the CIA is nowhere to be found. Hector Bareilles is a former DEA agent and author of The Last Narc. So, Hector, what kind of relationship does the CIA...
But there's very little I would take issue with there, except for what the CIA could do relative to the cartels. It is quite possible that, and I would imagine, CIA is involved in some drug running as a way of getting off-book monies.
Yeah.
Although there's also, like, just a ton of money that's hidden within the budget for the CIA. But why just make it about the CIA as if it's like some type of rogue organization? How about let's talk about American policy? Let's talk about what the CIA did just, the 50th anniversary was 3 weeks ago with Allende. In fact, why not have AOC on? Because she was saying this on national television the other day.
Yeah. What's Jesse Waters' coverage of Venezuela been like? Has it been about different sorts of
like a U.S. interference?
Yeah. I'll see if maybe I'm wrong. I don't really see it on the initial Google.
Is there a reason why Joe Biden just had to provide temporary protective status to tens of thousands of Venezuelans? It's because of all the damage we did to their economy. As a matter of policy.
Mark Weisbrot, I think, said it was like 3 Great Depressions are sanctions on the oil industry there.
And we destabilized government after government in Central America. And there's only,
the CIA is woke. They want, I don't know.
They're so woke.
It's just interesting that these guys have to pretend. Like, the content of their, anti-imperialist, anti-CIA thing is BS. But, I guess, Alex Jones was kind of pretending this early on.
Of course. And the thing is, they'll make it like this sort of narrow, detached from all the other policies that the CIA's operations are an extension of. These are all, when we talk about a strong military, it's the exact same thing. We don't need 800 some odd bases around the world, but to protect U.S. corporate interests, which is also what the CIA was operating under the exact same rubric.
But also, let's be real, the corporate interests aren't challenged by ICE. They actually like that because all the bosses that are running illegal immigrant labor like to have ICE there, because if that immigrant labor says, hey, maybe we should unionize.
That threat is always there. Yeah. They want that dynamic.
Simple phone call.
Right, and for example, the 70 years ago, the Iran, the CIA-backed Iran coup, that wasn't because of a rising threat of Iranian migration or concerns about autocracy. Mohammad Mossadegh was the democratically elected leader who wanted to nationalize
the oil companies.
Wanted to nationalize oil.
The oil reserves. They wanted to use their reserves for the.
So Eisenhower was like, "No way, we have to get the Shah. Yep. We have to get the Shah back, or the Ayatollah back."